Good evening, everyone. So nice to be back. I know it's January 16th, but it's never too late to say Happy New Year.
That's just very nice of you, Abai. Happy New Year to you as well.
hmm So, Brian, how's your day been so far?
Good. We my little nephew at a flag football game. I just ate dinner, and now I'm in his garage, or his dad's garage, my brother's garage. It doesn't matter. We'll have a good Zoom. How are you? How's life with in Silicon Valley? How's life in general?
Honestly, it's been quite the long day. Like I had a little bit of work stuff to take care of, then I had to run a few errands. Then I actually watched the Eagles v Bucks. That was more one-sided than I was hoping. And now I was watching the Australian Open a moment ago. So uh, nice mix of work and fun. That's the
Yes,
perfect weekend. Yeah.
and Djokovic deported.
hmm As it should be. I mean,
Yes,
if
yeah.
if you can't follow the protocols, you got to be able to. I mean, you'll have to face the consequences as a result.
Exactly. Back is he the Czech Republic? Where does he have to go back to? No,
Serbia,
what country?
Serbia.
Serbia. Excuse me. And you're writing trivia questions, but
hmm
the key thing is we got some big winners here. Tell people what Perfect Picks is.
You know what? I think the I'm kind of a perfect picks layman, so I think we should add the rest of the population in here so
Yes,
they can do the explaining for me.
there you go.
So we have Ferg, we have Chihong, we have Indica. First of all, good evening slash good morning, and yeah, of course. And let's get a quick lowdown on perfect picks.
All
Anyone can
right.
go
Well,
first.
I guess I can talk about it since I kind of referred the game to the group. Perfect Picks is a sports prediction app. Um, I think it has slowly grown an audience, especially amongst our group. And we've all had varying degrees of success. And recently, we've had some champions in our mix. I know that for Brian and myself, we're leading our respective leagues, but those won't be finished until later this spring. But maybe we can shine a light on our recent winners.
Well, there's two of them here. Who wants to go first?
I wonder who that is.
Okay, I think I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
So, yeah, I started playing Perfect Picks basically from a recommendation from Shihan. Actually, it happened when we were playing HQ on a daily basis, and then HQ started going on a hiatus for like 3 weeks or something, and we were not sure whether it's gonna be back or not. So then I was looking for other opportunities to play different apps. She actually kind of like suggested to me play Wolpo and Perfect Picks. So I started it up. Perfect Picks is very kind of like easier concept. Like you just have to predict a game whether it's a win or not and the differential. But on a way, it's a little harder to kind of like win in certain elements like NFL and some of the things. So first 4 to 5 months, it's been a tough. I played like 6 months until I had this one lucky thing in NBA where I went on winning everything and came to the final game where I was the third on the list with a chance of hitting that jackpot. Uh, Nets versus Phillies, I think. So then everybody was on Nets. I didn't have option. I had to go on Phillies, and Brian made it a point. Say, look, only way you're gonna win is uh, bet on the dog. Did that, and it worked out. So won the $500 jackpot, and they've been pretty good. And they actually reached out to me on the right next day, and ensured that I got the payment within a very short time period, despite me having problems with PayPal and all of that. They actually made it good, and like their owner, I think Matt Allen was like in touch with me. He ensured that I got the payment within a week. Everything was there on my accounts.
And tell people the reason why Abai said good morning. You're in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And maybe a Ferg or Chi or explain the concept where you have not only picked a winner, but the point spread. Explain
The
that to
margin,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, pretty much on any given night, you're given a slate of teams that are facing one another. Uh, depending on the league, some leagues have a tie, some don't. So you choose the winning team or a tie. If you're choosing a winning team, you say the winning margin. So it could be like 2 goals, it could be 10 points, and then whatever the score ends up being, you get a score calculated based on how close you were to the actual differential. The maximum you can score is 100 in a week. A typical jackpot target is to get 80 points. It differs depending on the league. It could be 75, it could be 85. So as long as you hit that threshold and you're the highest scoring person in that week, then you'll win. If you tie with someone, then you'll split the winnings. But it is very difficult to hit the jackpot goal for certain sports. So football, NFL, forget about it. Um, Basketball is, I mean, that was quite a feat to win in basketball. Hockey is a lot easier as there are no ties, and typically the score, it's off by a goal or two. Although we've seen in recent days like some crazy scores, like it's like 9-1 or something like that. So it's fairly difficult to win, but it's easy. I think the concept is easy to grasp. So those are the weekly jackpots, and then you have the season-long tournaments that Micah just won in NFL, and that came down to the wire as well. And we had Michael, who is a regular HQ Diaries. He was right in the thick of things, right until the end, and that last game sort of determined the top three.
No, that's for sure. And for example, the NBA, I think there's been we're about 20 weeks in, there's been like 2 or 3 jackpot winners. So it doesn't happen often. And then we'll let Ferg talk, because in the NFL, they added, it was 18 weeks, not one jackpot. But Ferg, tell them how you found a way to make some money.
Yeah, we spoke a little earlier about there being a little bit of a league play, I believe, where you could join a league early on in a specific sports season. We have one for basketball and hockey that Chi Hung and Brian respectively are leading. They had one for the NFL, and I started off kind of just in the low numbers, kind of like not doing too hot, but not doing too cold. And then at some point in the year, just out of nowhere, I just kind of hit this little stride where it was like I was never the best person there, but I also was nowhere near the worst. And I just kind of kept riding that wave. And then next thing I know, week 18 rolls around, and coming down to game, like 272 of the regular season, I was in a position where I could potentially clinch up the league, and got a little fortunate that was able to happen, and cashed in on the league.
No, and you're a genius, because 18 weeks, Chi's doing well in hockey. I'm doing well in the NBA, but we're exhausted. I mean, it's not even halfway through. He's laughing. We got to make picks every day until April. Chi, we're crazy, but tell people what we're doing. It's worth it.
Yeah, what was the jackpot? How much did you win?
It was 150 for first.
Yeah. So, I mean, the grind isn't quite worth the payout if you compare to, just winning a week's jackpot, but it is a grind. You basically have to play every day, make all your picks. I mean, granted, you can slip. I messed up the other night, but you got to last the entire season and hope you outlast everyone. As well as getting the correct picks in. It is a bit of a grind, for sure.
And tell people, who is Antonio, and why does Antonio never go on vacation?
Antonio, he is this mystery Italian contestant or user, and one of the great things about Perfect Picks is that it's an app based in the UK, but it does promote international play. You can see everyone's flag next to your name, so you'll see you'll see the North American flags, and you'll see some European flags, but it's truly international. I think all of the continents. Well, I haven't seen Antarctica or Australia, but I mean everything else, right? And it's truly global in the sense, and I think part of the reason we're talking about it is not only the fact that we have winners and we have leaders, but we want to see this app survive and thrive, so that all our efforts don't go to waste.
Yeah.
I thought, Abai, you know everybody. Get this Antonio guy from Italy. And what about, we'll post this. We had good luck with Tally Up. We need this guy, Matt Allen, to join us because we've been winning. We want to know how Perfect Picks is making money.
He's I can definitely tag him like after like on Twitter or something. And honestly, when it comes to perfect picks, I've been kind of in and out, I guess, but I'm trying to get back into it. Try to more frequently take part in the contests. Um, it's just that I think apart from NBA and NFL to some extent, I'm kind of taking blind guesses, but it's still a chance to win, and I'm more than happy to give it a shot.
Sure. No, and also tell Matt Allen they need cricket.
Yes, they definitely need cricket in there. Um, I've in fact I've watched the entire South Africa versus India Test series and a bunch of other matches too. So I know there's this other app called Tenor, but perfect picks with cricket would be so amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know who goes next, but no, Chi is like our godfather. He's like he's like Christopher Columbus. He finds all
More
this
like the
stuff and
Ferdinand
sends it to
Magellan
us.
because he
And
circumnavigated the world.
yes, no, but as I said, somehow I'm doing well in the NBA, and I think about Ferg and maybe Chi as well. How that NFL, because I know the NFL, but I just stopped caring, And what I would do is make my picks on Tuesday. Uh, Ferg, yeah, how did you do that? I mean, there's like 200 people playing.
It was interesting because I was always kind of like after week 3, I think I was like in the top 20, and I just generally stayed in the top 20, week 4, week 5, week 6. So like my only motivation was that, I'm probably not, well, at the time, the motivation was, listen, I'm probably not going to win, right? There's like 15 people in front of me, but who knows? Maybe, just make a few picks here. People forget to make a pick here or there, and you go on a little run, and next thing you know, you're right there. And I mean, I remember talking to you, Brian. I think it was like week 12 in the NFL. You still had your little Survivor League going, and I remember saying like, "Hey, I'm still right there," So maybe a couple games go my way, and I'll be right in that position of potentially, finish in the top 3. And I was lucky enough that that's what happened.
Well, not only lucky, you were in first. You would have choked if you didn't take first. I mean,
I almost did.
You had a big lead, and then I just thought of stuff, but I'll let some other people talk. But Chi and also Indica, you're in those strange ones like in Germany and Spain where you don't have to pick every week. And come out here for a second, Leo. And how do you know which weeks to choose? And then also, like I looked, Chi, you have like a 1 or 2 point lead. It's going to be difficult for them to catch you, even if they go 60. I mean, what would they pick up? Like half a point?
Yeah, Chi, you want to go?
No, okay, you go ahead.
So there is 2 types of leagues, right? One is the total points type of leagues, that is NFL, NBA, and NHL. All of them are based on total points. So you have to play every week at predictions for every game. So that's how you kind of like win it. Next one is the soccer leagues, which they started last year. All of them are like you only have to pay half of the weeks of the competition. So like if the competition has 50 challenges, you just have to pay 25, and they only take the average of the game weeks that you play. So I think even Chi Hang and even me, we initially started playing every week, and we realized like we play the worst weeks as well. There are certain weeks like all of the games are like perfectly matched up, where the top teams playing against the top teams. So you can't have idea about which team's going to win. But there are certain weeks where there are off games, like the top team plays the number 20 in the league, so the predictions is much easier, and there are enough weeks you can pick like that. So I've started doing that a little bit, and actually it worked for me on the German league, where I was like 10th or 12th sometime back, and then I didn't play for 6 weeks. All of a sudden I'm on the top 3. So
You'll need to tag me on those because I have no idea about international football. I play when I remember, and if I miss the game, I'm just sitting out the rest of them.
Right. And
Oh,
you're good at math. How many more weeks do you have to play, Chi, to get 50%?
That's a good question. I mean, they give you the date range of when the respective seasons end. I believe most of the leagues have, what is it, 38 games or 38
38.
weeks.
38.
So for some of those leagues, I've already passed the halfway mark, but because I'm not a front runner, I feel like I need to catch up before I let go of the gas, so to speak. There's a strategy where you can just skip the games and hope everyone crumbles around you, but it's kind of risky
Yeah.
because you're putting basically the fate of your positioning into other people's hands, right? So there's certainly strategic elements for those leagues where you're looking at average scores. Whether to play a given week or not, I think it speaks to your comfort with that sport and that league. Being a noob, I'm not really sure what to do in most cases. I play when I can, but something I think we need to toot our own horn a little bit for our respective leagues and challenges. We don't really help one another out. I mean, sometimes we'll say who we pick, but all of these wins have been independent of one another, right? Like,
That's true.
Mhm.
and it's hard to strategize. I mean, you can give sort of general hints on maybe formulas you use or different sources you refer to, but I think for the wins that we've had so far and the successes we've had, they've just been sort of going on our own gut instinct and our own strategies, and it's hard. I mean, this isn't something where you can sort of hack into a server and sort of get the answers behind the scenes. This is like making predictions, and unless one of us is from the future, it's not easy, right?
Nobody's Googling.
Yes.
No,
Yeah, that's right.
that's another game we play.
Well, I guess you could Google some
In
things
terms of
like
this
if,
one, also, I joke. I'll sometimes give you my picks and say pick the opposite. It's you just don't know. I mean, some are obvious, like today, the Suns and the Pistons. Everybody was on the Suns. Oh, somebody explain the Star.
doesn't the star give you double points for that one choice?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's right.
Yeah. Actually, that's, I think, the key differentiator of winning some of these leagues. So basically, you need to get your star pick right if you want to hit the jackpot, like star pick right or very close together. So because how they get that 100 points is if there are 9 games, they divide it to 10. So star pick is basically 2 games. So they add that into the 100. It's not like a scenario where you have more than 100 and you just have to hit 80. It's basically 80 out of the 100. So that's why the star pick is very important. There are different strategies there as well. Like some of us might want to hit the most comfortable game that we know is gonna kind of like be the perfect game. But the risk of it is like if you went on, let's say, the Suns game today, and it's a blowout, like they won by like 20 odd. Unless you think of it like that, you're not going to get much points out of the star game. So it might make sense for you to go to a game which is much closer, but then again, there's the risk of the team losing. Then you lose out everything. So it depends on where you are on the leagues and all of that to make that call.
Yeah. Something else I just thought about was somebody talked about how a blowout messes up the jackpot. I mean, once there's like one blowout, because nobody can pick. I forget there was like NBA games. Was like the Warriors and the Bucks, and the Bucks won by like 40. No one's going to say Bucks beat Warriors by 40. So the best you can get is like 4.5 points. Somebody explain that, how the blowout, if there's like one blowout, there's going to be no jackpot.
Yeah, so for each sport, they sort of give you a breakdown. You can look at it's like a legend or something that gives you the point breakdown. So if you're off by 1 point, then you will get. So let's say a game is worth, let's say 10 points, just to make it a round number, right? And if you're off, if you get it exactly, you'll get the 10 points. But if you're off by say at 1 point, you might get like 9 instead of 10, and it just cascades down, right? So the bigger the differential to a certain point where you're only rewarded half the number of points. You only get 5, and I don't know what that threshold is, but there's a certain point where, let's say it's 20 points. Anything more than that, it's considered you're getting half of that score. So forecasting that, it's difficult. I remember I used to play the NCAA football. I don't know, for whatever reason, and I wanted to go with more than 50, but they capped it at 50, and I think the differential was like 54 or 53, and I couldn't even get the full number of points because that wasn't an option. But it's one of those things where if you lose, you kind of hope that the game is a blowout so that your opponents get only half of the maximum score, right? So in those cases, you can take some comfort in that.
I got something here. So Abai, I mean,
Yeah.
you're busy. I mean, you're writing trivia questions. You're working in a lab. You're what else? Oh, you're beating people at Blasteroids. Yeah. Besides Ferg, does anybody here know what Blasteroids is? Probably not.
No, I think I showed Chi Hung what Blasteroids is.
Yes.
Remember
exactly,
last time? Remember last time?
Yeah. Chi Hung, you're probably better off not knowing about Blasteroids and Monkey Madness, but
Monkey Business.
We sit around winning. I do win 32 cents. We'll talk about it when we do another one, but yeah, Abai does it for higher stakes, as does Ferg. But yeah, Abai, that's it. You really haven't jumped into the perfect picks. You're probably just too darn busy.
Well, I've been playing a whole bunch of stuff like Tally Up, and then a lot of these trivia games. I was also playing this app called Tenor. I know I mentioned it. Even there, I've kind of fallen behind. But yeah, I think from this week onwards, that's going to be something I'm gonna fix. I mean, I'm able to make time for a lot of things. So
I just thought you make time for Mexican trivia.
Actually, it's Spain.
Spain, okay.
Yeah.
Spanish trivia, and Chi Hung's. I think Chi Hung's part of that too. I don't. You somebody. What is that?
I think it's a good time to segue to One to Win because they're just super fun, honestly. Because it's every Friday and Sunday. Friday for the English quizzes and Sunday for the Spanish quizzes. It's just like HQ trivia, so it's 12 questions and you get 3 choices. Only difference is if you make the podium, which is the top 3. If you finish first, you get $25. If you finish second, you get 15. If you finish third, you get 10. And it's a combination of both getting everything right and doing it as fast as you can. Now, I for one, I'm not that fast because I tend to second guess myself on a lot of occasions. But especially Friday's quiz, that was particularly a highlight because I submitted a bunch of questions to the guy who runs it, and most of them ended up on the quiz, and it was so nice to see.
Were you able to play it as well? Did you know your questions were going to be there?
Yes, in fact,
Okay.
I was able to recognize them. The only sad part was that my screen recorder failed. I wasn't able to get the recording of that quiz. I did get the recording of today's Spanish quiz. I may post it sometime tonight, if not maybe tomorrow. But we'll see.
No, but going back to that, you wrote a legitimately tough tennis question. Tell people that one. I still don't know the answer.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah, go with your pajamas on and come back. My little nephew's here. I apologize. So we've had I've been playing catch with my nephew as we were doing the trivia. But continue, Abai. You're okay, Eric.
So the question
you're not
was
on the street.
okay. The current top ranked female tennis player won her first major singles title on what kind of surface? Is it a clay court? Is it a hard court? Or is it a grass court?
So yeah, is it the Japanese player or who is it?
It's actually Ashley Barty. She's Australian.
Wow, Australian.
And
okay.
Yeah, she's the current #1 in the world. And her first major title was the French Open. I believe it was 2019. The French Open is played on a clay court, so clay court is the right answer.
And did they pull a display and put down glass?
Yeah, he accidentally put glass court instead of grass court. I was laughing a little when I saw that.
That's even worse than display. I mean, playing on glass. Come on, and I just noticed something. Indikaj, you know tennis. You knew that answer.
Yeah, so I follow tennis a lot, and my favorite player is Rafa Nadal. So I watched the French Open a lot. So I know Ash Barty won it in the same year. He won his 12th title or something. So I knew that answer. And also taking grass out with glass kind of makes it a 50-50 question. So it makes it a little easier. But if you don't follow tennis that much, that's kind of like hard still, because
Right.
you
Well, I
need to
hope.
first identify who's the top player, then you need to figure out what's the
Well, that's it. And
nature.
it's a legitimately tough. What is it? What they call it? The double question.
The
That
nested question.
some trivia apps try to do that. They don't do as well. Abai sits there in his house and he writes these questions. And I just go back to IndyCar. You could also watch the Australian Open as it happens. Like we watch,
Yes.
it's very confusing for Abai and I. Like it's starting, I think, for on you tomorrow, which is Monday, which is tomorrow for us. Does that make sense? I mean, it's too damn confusing. And so, what about you, Chi, with the time difference in Canada? You're Eastern, so yeah. No, I guess yeah. No, you're up late. You have kids, but sometimes I'm up at like 10 p.m. and it's 1 a.m. and you're keeping up on stuff.
Yeah, I shouldn't be. I should be in bed. But sometimes I got stuff to finish up, so I'm just winding things down.
Right. Okay. So you're
Actually,
doing legitimate work, and then you're checking out what's going on with your picks and whatnot.
Yeah, let's see that.
Okay. So I'll give you the better. You might be enjoying that new NBA package.
Yes, I have sports again on my TV, which is
Right. And then Ferg, we'll go back. Well, actually, no, you something. Abai, take over. You're in charge here.
oh yeah, I was going to talk about the timing. Actually, the Australian Open, it's not, the timing isn't that bad, because I think matches that are going on in the morning are in the late afternoon slash evening over here. But it's just the ones that are later in the day. Those I won't be able to watch because I'll be fast asleep.
Right, but those are the best matches. They always put the best players on at night.
Yeah. You'll
Yeah,
be missing
that
the final.
I know that's most frustrating. I'll probably have to wake up and then um, watch the entire match. In fact, I try my hardest not to Google and see who won. I tell my family, don't tell me, don't Google or whatever. It's
Well, no,
yeah.
it's a piece of cake. The Australian, you would have to find it yourself. It's not like an NFL game where you have to avoid it. Nobody other than you is talking about the Australian Open. Just don't Google it.
That's true. That's true.
No, but
So,
tell me more about that app you're telling me that I don't play that has the American and the Spanish.
oh yeah, one to win. They're not quite an app. I wouldn't say they're an app, but on quiz days, you have to go to your browser and to the one to win site, and then it'll let you join the game. And the interface is basically just like HQ. And in fact, the guy who hosting the English version, Timothy Dunn, he was an ex-host on HQ Trivia. So he's no, not HQ Trivia, HQ Words. Sorry, yeah. And and actually, the guy who runs One to Win, Jesus, he's a big trivia connoisseur. He comes up with all kinds of should I say intriguing trivia questions. Some of them which I didn't even know. Um, I can't really beat myself up if I miss those.
So it's
And then,
still a browser, right? No app for
Yeah,
that, right?
they
Okay.
don't, but I wouldn't be surprised if like in the near future they have their own app. And the interesting thing is it's a one man army. Like he writes the questions, he makes the scripts, he produces the show. It's unbelievable.
he's
And
like
and he's
you.
using and he's paying the winners out of his own pocket.
How much are we getting paid tonight?
Wait,
I'll take
so
Canadian money.
I think Obai will pay you in swag bucks.
Oh
yeah,
no! Yeah. And Abai, you have a few of those swag bucks.
I have a lot. I have like I think 11,000 swag bucks.
My God.
I,
On Tuesday, tomorrow's a holiday. Tell your boss you quit.
no. But in a more serious note, whom all here play one to win like on a regular basis?
Maybe just the two of us in this room.
Really?
The timing is very crazy for me. I think it's late night for me, so it
Oh
doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Friday games are what 1 p.m. here, so that's oh yeah, that's gonna be like right in
Midnight
the
for
middle of
me.
the
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
You should play in the middle of the night in Spanish. That'd be a lot of fun.
I don't understand Spanish like Abai does.
Yeah,
You know, the
Abaya,
Spanish quizzes.
how
Yeah,
are you winning in Spanish? This doesn't make any sense.
I'll let Chihan go first.
So I think what Abai might started to say was that because it runs on a browser, if you use Chrome, there's a translate feature which works pretty well. Not perfect, but there is an advantage to be gained if you know a bit of Spanish, and I think Abai took some in high school.
Yeah, actually, I play it on Firefox just because the video quality is better. I knew Chrome had the translate feature, but I'm a bit slow with the translation. But fortunately, I'm not super rusty with my Spanish from high school, so on most occasions I'm able to understand what the questions say. Sometimes it's like these one or two words which I'm not familiar with. I may need to look those up on wordreference.com because then again, Google Translate isn't that accurate, and I've been using word reference since I first started taking Spanish when I was in school.
You and Chi are like half of India that's playing HQ.
Yeah, in fact, I think the Spanish version has like double the number of contestants the English version has.
Yeah, so I don't know when is it? It's on Fridays.
Yeah, it's at Fridays at 1 p.m. That's the English quiz, and
Eh,
Spanish is Sundays at 11.
Okay, yeah. So you're taking your lunch at Fridays at 1, so you can play.
Well, I take it around like 12:40. It's perfect time. In fact, that's kind of when I normally take lunch.
Perfect. So I'll know on Friday at 1 o'clock I should play Blasteroids because you'll be busy.
That's right. That's
All
right.
right. No, and I'm trying to think what else. I mean, we just came together because we love trivia, and for me, it's just neat. I always joke. I've always wanted to meet somebody from Sri Lanka, and now I know an NBA expert in Sri Lanka. And so, literally, I think we figured it out. I'm in California, so you're like 12 hours. So is it like 7 or 8 a.m. tomorrow morning on Monday morning right now?
Yeah. 8,
Okay.
8, 8. It's 9 a.m.
Okay, so
now.
that's it. So you can
13 and a half.
Okay, 13. Okay, so basically, if I watch the Warriors at 7:30, it would start at like 7:30 or 8 a.m. your time, and then it would finish. You can get the result about 10 a.m. Sri Lankan time.
Yeah.
Okay,
Basically.
all right. Now I see why you're an NBA expert. But like when the Toronto Raptors play, that's a little tougher because they're tipping off like at 4 or 5 in the morning, and that's it. You wake up with your kids like at 6 or 7, and you check your phone to see how you're. Okay, I understand what's going on there. And then back to Chi. What is you're like a math guy? I mean, how much time are you spending on those picks?
Oh man. Yeah, so I have spreadsheets. I update them daily after the the scores come in. But one thing that kind of one thing that Perfect Picks can do better, in my opinion, is not double booking certain teams. So teams that play back to back, they'll sometimes have them as part of the contest. So I can't do the number crunching for the entire week, right? So they'll have to play the night before, and then I need to update those scores before I can get my updated like numbers. So in that respect, it takes me a little bit more effort. Sometimes I don't remember to do that, so my predictions aren't that accurate. But once I figure out how to automate it, it'll make things a lot easier. But I do a lot of grunt work, and I know that most likely these other top players like Antonio in Italy perhaps is using a different system that may be less time intensive. So kudos to him for doing that.
We know what Antonio's doing.
What's that?
He picks the favorites.
There you go.
And no matter what. IndyCar knew that. That's why I told him. I said, you can catch these guys. They're going to pick the favorite. I know that one. I know Antonio's definitely going to pick the favorite. And no, it's tricky. It's just with the hockey, you're good. It's just when, like today, I bet you everybody was on the Kings and the Houston Rockets beat them. But how in the world do you pick the Houston Rockets? And better yet, why does Matt Allen have the Houston Rockets on there at least once a week? I mean, exactly. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, he loves the Houston Rockets and the Detroit Pistons. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean they're not doing that great this season, but they tend to upset some of the favorites. So it makes for exciting, I guess, weekly challenges. We'll say.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and no, and it's just it is funny though. Like when everyone says where somebody's going to win by 3, and then the other team ends up winning by 43. It's that's the NBA. I'm trying to think. We're back to the perfect picks. I just the interface is fine, and just the fact that Shi Hung made money last year, Indy Kosh made money 2 weeks ago, Ferg made money last week. Just hope they didn't. Shi Hung, just hope they didn't make too much money. We want to cash in April, correct?
Yeah, we gotta push each other, make sure we don't slack off. It is a long season, both NHL and NBA.
Yeah, no, a buy's there. No, but you're pushing me. I'm pushing you. I mean, and we don't want to give people advice, but here's what you do: when the first comes out, just make some picks, and that way, if you like, your phone drops in the toilet or you end up on vacation in Singapore, at least your picks are in, and then you can update them. So that's my strategy. Oh, here's the final thing: no late changes. If you guys make late changes, I've been burned too many times.
That kind of reminds me of some advice my teachers used to give, like when I took multiple choice tests, because if you change on many occasions, whenever I've changed my choice, it ends up wrong, and I think that such is the case with perfect picks too.
Correct, but the difference is the question doesn't change. The information changes. You're like, wait a minute, Russell Westbrook's not playing. What should I do about this? So I don't know. It's tricky. Do you make late picks? I mean, late switches?
Yeah, I mean, I fall victim to that. As you say, you get some new information and you think you can outsmart yourself, and then you adjust your pick, and then you get burned for it. And I don't remember if it happened for me today. I was looking at some of my soccer picks, and I know I had a really good day overall. I mean, when I was looking at today's picks, I had a sea of green, which was great. But as you say, it's make a pick and just stick with it. Don't alter it, because once you start second guessing yourself, then you get in trouble.
The one thing I'm hearing, kids, are those my nieces and nephews, or is that someone else?
Might be mine.
Oh, okay, it's Sri Lankan kids. Okay, all right, very good. Okay. Because I was wondering what the hell's going on. I'm out here in the garage. I'm like saying, so I'm doing everything I can, and I can't do anything about Sri Lanka. That's too far away. And no, but it's neat. Yeah. How did it was HQ? How did we find you? I mean, I've never had a Sri Lankan friend.
So it's basically, I think Abai reached out to me sometime once I won a quiz. Like I think before I started playing in 2019. Somewhere in the middle when Scott was doing his last few programs. So I heard it from a friend and I started, and like I never had like very big success those days, because like I tend to know the first few questions, then last few questions I don't have a clue most of the times, because those are basically based on the US culture. Then I had my first win about, I think, 1.5 months later. Then I kept on playing. Somewhere down the line, I had like a streak of 3 wins or something. And then Abai reached out to me on Twitter asking like, hey, are you a cricket fan and all of that? Then we kind of like started exchanging messages. And that's how I kind of like got into the group.
Yeah, it goes back to Abai. Abai was trying to put together this master team. And I remember this. He kept on coming at Abai lives down the street from me, but I thought he lived in India. And he just kept coming at me, and I mean, he was relentless. And finally I succumbed and I responded to him. Okay, this guy seems decent. And
the rest is history.
And that's what he did. He was assembling this master team of like people from around the world in the United States, master Googlers, people that were good at sports, and that's it. And I think are we all part of that team?
Most definitely.
Yeah. And so that's, and then Chi, was it through, how did I meet you, Chi? Was it through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Abai, same thing. So he started. I had some success in HQ trivia, and he started tweeting at me, asking me about cricket, and then no, not the cricket part, but no, he was asking me about HQ, and then one thing led to another, and here we are.
Abai has thought of something. I'm joking. You're reaching out to too many dudes. I'm joking, but I meant you're supposed to use Instagram and Twitter to find women. And you found 4 other dudes, but at least we're winning money each week, So no, that's it. Abai brought us all together. The one he can't claim is I knew Ferg first.
Yep,
That is true.
Yeah, true story. Yeah, and we should let Ferg talk. Ferg's back in college.
Yeah. That's pretty much the headline. Back in school. I wasn't in school. I was a cook for a little bit, server for a little bit. Just doing anything a restaurant needed, and then got a few too many overtime slips, and now I'm back in school.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. And then I don't know. For me, it's just fun to see everybody. It's just a good group. Oh, she helped me blew it. We're not wearing our official outfit.
Oh, right.
But I can't. But I'm at home. I can't go get it. But that was classic. And and you were busy. I remember that you were busy that night, and you just had to hop on. It took me about 10 seconds to figure it out that Chi Hug and I shop at the same store.
Yeah, we had the matching uniforms, and in fact, we were joking and saying that would be the official uniform for HQ.
Right. No, we got to do more planning to do that. We should send it back to Abai. I mean, you're the mastermind here. What we want to keep it. We could probably about another 5 or 10 minutes. What have we forgotten to talk about?
Let's see here. I think we've covered all the bases. I guess we haven't really spoken about HQ, mostly because because of their frequency now. I haven't really had a chance to play any HQ apart from not last week or the week before, but the week the last week of December. And that wasn't a good experience. I almost got like $70 odd. I got the last one wrong, and guess what? The right answer was? It was B.
I'm aware of this. I was on vacation in Lake Tahoe. I was at a restaurant and I tried to play, and my brother looked at me from across the table. He says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Put away your phone." And so I thought the pay was going to be about $7, so I put away the phone. And I don't know if I would have got there, but I told him afterwards. I said, "You cost me $77." But
I do have the screen recording.
Yeah, the HQ. I looked at it. It's hilarious that we haven't been paid since the end of July. That's 6 months ago. That's insane. This isn't like new information, but that's just crazy. I mean, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, and then there's the solo employee or whatever or whoever.
Oh, right? Yeah, the comfortable employee.
Comfortable one.
And God knows how long he's taking to process all these cash outs.
Well, no, I think what it is they're processed, and then they just wait till they get a little bit more money or till the time is right. I think they have money, but secretly they're hoping that people forget, people pass on. No, I'm joking. They don't want people to die, but people forget that they have the money. People give up, and so the longer they wait, the less they have to pay. Does people agree with that theory?
I basically think it's just that one of them, either Russ or somebody, is pocketing out money in a certain thresholds whenever he has money. I don't think they have a lot of money there, because if you look at the last 5 to 6 months, there hasn't been any sponsored show or anything like that. They are going on their own. I think that's the case. They're just dragging it out until they find the investor or something. So until that time. The good thing for them is they've now kind of like gone through their daily schedules. Now, even though it's 6 months, it's like 20 odd shows. So they're only behind about 100,000 according to Chandler. So I think that's what they're doing. They're just dragging out until they find something out.
Right. But in fairness, they're definitely dragging it out. But if a month goes by, they're not getting any more money. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're making money, So am I wrong about that? I mean, they're just dragging it out. Yeah. There's no way for them to make, I don't know. But it's fun. I look, sometimes I forget it's Thursday and I go, oh, it's 6:00. I can play, except when I'm eating dinner with my brother and his family. He puts the kibosh on that. But it's fun. And Abai, who loves trivia, you drive during it. You figured it out. It's not worth it. You just try to get home.
Yeah, I was kind of I guess this was around August because work started in the second week of August, but I was like super addicted to display and HQ. I remember like having my phone and iPad and whatnot, trying to play both games at once, and then of course HQ. And I guess in like the first couple of weeks of work, I had like mild withdrawal from the evening trivia. But later on, I was like, you know what? That there are more important things to focus on. And if I miss it, I miss it. And if I get a chance to play, that's just a stroke of luck at the end of the day.
Now that's a good attitude. I'm trying to think. Chihug, you want to say anything about display? Because I know where you are every day at 5 o'clock. How do you do? You just make a point. 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock for you.
8 p.m.
Right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they have a pre-show half hour before, where it's basically you can think of it as a commercial or infomercial that they're trying to promote the app, the non-trivia part of the app. They do give away an answer, but yeah. So a big change that happened recently is that their trivia games are live. I know for the longest time they went to pre-recorded, and although for me, it didn't seem to matter that much, but having gone live, you have Sarah reading the results as they come in. As well, they're able to pivot in case something goes wrong. So recently there was a question that was I don't know if that was the Wizard of Oz. There was something, I guess, the very, very first question. So they remedied that maybe the day after. But there was one, I remember there was one game where there was a typo in one of the answers and they struck it. Like they said, we're not counting that. So they're more agile in the sense that if there's something that goes wrong, then they can fix it on the fly with a live game format, right? But in terms of the prize pot, it's still $500 a day. But in terms of the payout, it's been consistently around the $2 mark. There's been about 200 winners every day for the $500 pot, which is decent if you consider the payout compared to what HQ used to be. I mean, HQ now kind of fluctuates in terms of the number of winners, but it's a consistent trivia experience, notwithstanding some of the flaws that still exist, such as really long questions, really long answers that you can't read. The missing timer. So it's not perfect by any means, but it is it's a good a good fix for people looking to play trivia every day.
That's what I'll say. I very rarely say something nice about display, but I'm playing sometimes for $2. I'm like, why in the hell am I playing for $2? It's because it's not perfect, but the trivia is above average now. Do people agree with that?
Yeah, sure.
I haven't played.
Yeah, no, it's insane. They don't have a timer. I mean, you talk to the host sometimes, Chi. Why can't they have a timer?
Why can't they have a timer? I'm not sure the technical reasons, but I believe it's something that they could implement. So perhaps we'll see one, hopefully in the near future.
It sounds like you work for display. That's the answer display would say.
Well, I mean, nothing's official, so I'm only speculating that it's something that
right.
they could easily add in if they want to. I mean, they're going by some sort of timer, right?
No, but
if it's someone manually pressing a button, for example, I'm sure they could figure out a way to have an on-screen display. Pardon the pun.
Well, now I'm a little mad when you said they could easily do it. I mean, it's pure madness. I mean,
Wow.
I sit there and I play and I say, I think it's been about long enough. Let me put an answer. It's crazy. Could you imagine if no other app could do that?
Yeah, and that really adds an element of strategy to to the trivia, because you can think about it a bit longer, but then you might run out of time, right? Because
It's ultimately,
And sometimes the timer is like super fast.
yeah,
It's
Well,
like sometimes even inside of 10 seconds.
yeah, they say 10 seconds, and so I mean it's almost like it's almost like refereeing in an NBA game. So they call it a certain way, and then the last 2 minutes they swallow their whistle. So or in this case the timer speeds up. All right,
right.
for the last question.
Yeah, it's like the referees from the Raiders game yesterday. I'm joking, but that's no, but it makes it fun. But Indy Kaj, yeah, don't wake up at 5 a.m. to do this. You're better off sleeping. But for us, as I said, she at 8 o'clock, me at 5, Abai occasionally, Ferg when he doesn't have as much homework. Well, send it back to Abai. Take charge of this, Abai.
Before I say closing statements and all, a quick shout out to Sarah Previs for the birthday shout out. That felt absolutely amazing. I know I wasn't able to capture it on the 4th, but luckily I did get it the next day. But yeah, Chi Hong was right. It's you don't get birthday shout outs on Swagbooks Live.
And that only happened because they went live that day, and I think maybe that week, your birthday week, possibly. So you wrote in the chat. She saw your message, and then she shouted you out. So that was terrific.
I'm trying to think before we sign off, we should let Ferg say something.
Definitely.
Go Wolves. Brian, we beat your Warriors by 20. So I hope you had that in your little perfect picks.
No, I can depend on Ferg. I've known him the longest, but he enjoys busting my chops in person and like on the internet. I'll type something and Ferg, even when it's about Gerf Brooks, Ferg will chime in. But I don't know. I tell you what, I'll wrap up here because I talk so much and let you guys wrap it up. I got to go check to see what my nieces and nephews are doing. But in all seriousness, I left dinner to do this. Somehow my brother allowed me to get up from the dinner table, and that's why I'm in the garage. But for me, it's just
maybe
fun.
Tell them to play Tally Up.
Exactly. That's it. Indy Kaj and I don't feel nothing's worse than playing Tally Up, and there's like this little dog that pops up, and it's Ferg, and I'm all great. I was doing well. And then about 20 minutes later, the light bulb will come on, and now I'm playing Blasteroids against a buy for 32 cents. And you guys have no idea how important it is. It's not the 32 cents. I just got to beat a buy. And yeah, so no, that's fun. But thank you everybody for your friendship. And we do this not so often, but the trivia. I'll see you guys, everyone, later. Thank you.
Take care. All right. Well, I guess let's go around the room. I'll go last. We can start with Indica, and then we can go all the way around.
Yeah. So perfect picks. It's been a pretty decent couple of months for me on the trivia apps. I started off with winning 2 or 3 quizzes on HQ, and then went to Walpo and won one for somehow, and then this perfect pick. So it's been a pretty decent couple of months. Thanks for Chihang to kind of like introducing me for all of these apps. Wouldn't have known about Walpo perfect picks without him. So I think, but the best part of this is now we are in this group of guys where have constant chats about these apps, talking about how grindy these are and all of that, but still keep on playing all of that. I'm pretty sure there have been times where we said, look, this is it with HQ, but like 6 months later we are still playing HQ every Thursday. So it's a good experience, and thanks Abai for kind of like hosting these chats. It's very interesting to wake up in the morning and have a chat with you guys about all the apps that we play.
You know your priorities. All right, next. Who's next?
I'll go. Well, might as well. Had a pretty good wrap up of the NFL regular season. Um, Now we just get to watch the postseason where the inevitable happens and Tom Brady probably wins, his ninth Super Bowl ring or whatever he's on now. I just got into Volpo the other week or so. Yeah. I know Brian's going to watch this back and be like, Ferg, we gave up on that, but so far so good. Had a pretty good week, finished in the top 20. So I can't wait to follow it up with a finishing in the bottom 20 this week. And yeah, things going good.
No, fantastic. It gives me a lot of joy to see you guys, the rest of the team, succeed in these apps. Um, the ones that I've sort of promoted, Perfect Picks and Voopol, there aren't any referral bonuses. So it's sort of just, I'm not getting anything out of it necessarily by referring, but I love to see your success. I think your success is a reflection of not only your talents, but it just our team's winning spirit, let's say, right? Hopefully that the winning is contagious in that sense. Um, so there is another trivia app that perhaps we'll talk about next time that I think just it launched maybe a month ago, and it's starting to get its name by, I think you know the one I'm referring to. So we'll speak more about that the next time, but it's starting uh, to expand its offerings and things like that. Another trivia app. So I think that's something we can all jump aboard and have success in the new year together.
Definitely, and I think when it comes to, I can definitely reciprocate the referral bonuses with Tally Up for both Indica and Jihang. I know one of Tally Up's missions is to expand to other parts of the world. I know that can be a conversation for maybe next time. But yeah, I think yeah, we've made it a long way, and uh, I know I narrowly missed the cut on Volpo this week, but the aim, I guess, for this week is to get back to perfect picks and join the fun that I've missed out on for so long. I know it's been the center of discussion for quite some time. Um, it's a little disappointing to miss out, but at the same time, I feel more motivated. It's a new year. It's a good time to try new things, and of course, it was nice to talk to everyone here. And hope everyone has a nice rest of the day slash night. Take care.